Dr. Sara Al Madani kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show after firing Exchange. This title mocked a long video script without heading and scene in 6 paragraphs, each paragraph in 2500 alphabet with paragraph numbering. This title mocked a long video script without heading and scene in 6 paragraphs, each paragraph in 2500 alphabet with paragraph numbering. Paragraph 1. Welcome to another episode of dramatic TV moments that shock the world, where we dive deep into the unexpected clash between Dr. Sara Al Madani and Lorraine Kelly on her popular morning show. Picture this: Dr. Sara Al Madani, a renowned Emirati businesswoman, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker known for her no-nonsense approach to life, success, and personal accountability, steps onto the set of Lorraine's show in early January 2026. She's there to promote her latest ventures and share insights from her experiences as a single mother, fashion designer, and advocate for women's empowerment. Lorraine Kelly, the beloved Scottish presenter who's hosted her daytime program for decades, greets her with that signature warm smile. Starting the interview on what seems like a positive note, Lorraine begins by praising Sara's accomplishments, saying something along the lines of, "Dr. Sara, it's lovely to have you with us. You've achieved so much as a businesswoman, public speaker, and mother. Many people look up to you." Sara responds graciously but firmly, "Thank you, but admiration should come from honesty, not flattery." Right from the start, you can sense the underlying tension as Sara isn't one to sugarcoat things. The conversation quickly shifts to Sara's views on personal responsibility versus societal blame. Lorraine probes, "You've said in interviews that many people blame society for failures that are actually personal choices. Do you really believe that?" Sara doesn't hold back. "I don't believe it, I observe it. Struggle doesn't disappear when you lie to people, it disappears when you tell them the truth and give them responsibility." The audience murmurs in response, some nodding in agreement while others seem taken aback by her directness. As the discussion progresses, Lorraine tries to steer it toward lighter topics, but Sara keeps emphasizing the importance of truth over comfort. They touch on privilege, with Sara acknowledging its role but insisting, privilege doesn't explain why two people in the same situation make radically different choices. Lorraine counters by defending the need for empathy in conversations, especially on a morning show meant to uplift viewers. Sara retorts, "Empathy without accountability is manipulation." This is where things start heating up, as Lorraine's expression changes from amiable to defensive. She accuses Sara of viewing compassion as a weakness, to which Sara sharply replies, "No, I think fake compassion is." The studio falls into an uncomfortable silence for a few seconds, with the audience gasping and whispering. Lorraine attempts to redirect, suggesting they move to something lighter like Sara's fashion line, but Sara presses on about how society has lowered standards to avoid discomfort, particularly in media. She even critiques television for softening reality, saying, "We've lowered standards to avoid discomfort, especially on television." Lorraine, feeling personally attacked, responds with, "That's unfair, and frankly disrespectful." Sara doesn't back down. Truth often feels that way when you're not used to hearing it without a filter. At this point, the exchange has lasted about 47 seconds of pure intensity, and the producers are signaling to wrap it up. Lorraine announces on air, "This is a morning show, not a lecture hall. I think we're going to move on." Behind the scenes, as the cameras cut to a commercial break, Lorraine snaps at the producers, "I will not be ambushed on my own show." A producer approaches Sara and says, "We're ending the segment here." Sara, standing her ground, replies, "I answered the questions I was asked. I refused to perform." She's then escorted off the set, marking one of the most awkward exits in daytime TV history. The incident immediately sparks a firestorm on social media, with hashtags like #Sara Al Madani and #Lorraine Clash trending worldwide. Viewers are divided. Some praise Sara for her authenticity and bravery in speaking uncomfortable truths, while others criticize her for being too confrontational on a light-hearted program. Lorraine's fans defend her, arguing that guests should respect the host's style, but critics point out that perhaps the show invited Sara knowing her reputation for bold opinions. In the aftermath, reports emerge of a private phone call between the two, where Lorraine admits feeling cornered, and Sara expresses regret that difficult conversations are seen as threats rather than opportunities for growth. This event highlights broader issues in media about balancing entertainment with substantive dialogue, and how personalities clash when worldviews collide. As we continue to unpack this, it's clear that what started as a standard celebrity interview turned into a battle over empathy, accountability, and the role of truth in public discourse. Delving deeper into the backgrounds of the key players in this fiery exchange, let's first explore who Dr. Sara Al Madani really is and why her presence on Lorraine's show was bound to create sparks. Born and raised in the United Arab Emirates, Sara has built an impressive empire as a serial entrepreneur, founding multiple businesses in fashion, beauty, and consulting. She's also a reality TV star from the Real Housewives of Dubai, where her straightforward, no-filter personality has made her a fan favorite and sometimes a controversial figure. As a divorced mother of 3, she often speaks about resilience, self-reliance, and the importance of personal choices in overcoming adversity. Her motivational speeches emphasize that success comes from accountability rather than excuses, a message that resonates with many but can rub others the wrong way, especially in environments that prioritize feel-good content. On the other side, Lorraine Kelly has been a staple of British morning television since the 1980s, known for her relatable, down-to-earth style that mixes celebrity gossip, health tips, and light interviews. Her show is designed to be a comforting start to the day for viewers, often avoiding heavy debates in favor of uplifting stories. Inviting Sara, whose brand is built on challenging norms, was perhaps a recipe for conflict from the outset. The interview begins innocently enough, with Lorraine highlighting Sara's achievements and asking about her journey. But as Sara shares her philosophy, the tone shifts. When discussing motherhood, Sara says, "Motherhood isn't supposed to be easy, and pretending it is insults women who are actually doing the work." Lorraine, a mother herself, seems to take this personally, defending the need to support parents without judgment. Sara counters by pointing out how media often portrays idealized versions of life, leading to unrealistic expectations. The audience reacts with a mix of applause and boos, adding to the electric atmosphere. Lorraine tries to pivot to Sara's cultural background, asking about life in Dubai, but Sara brings it back to universal truths, stating, "Cultural differences exist, but human nature is the same everywhere. People avoid hard truths to stay comfortable." This persistent redirection frustrates Lorraine, who interjects, "You're sounding like you think compassion is a weakness." Sara's quick response, "No, I think fake compassion is," lands like a bombshell, erasing Lorraine's smile and eliciting shocked laughter from the crowd. The exchange escalates as Lorraine accuses Sara of making sweeping judgments, and Sara replies, "You're making a living softening reality so it goes down easier." At this juncture, the producers intervene subtly, with hand signals visible in leaked footage, urging Lorraine to cut the segment short. Lorraine, visibly flustered, says on air, "That's enough of that, let's take a break." Off camera, the tension boils over. Lorraine tells her team she felt ambushed, while Sara stands firm, refusing to apologize for her honesty. She's promptly asked to leave the studio, with security escorting her out to avoid further confrontation. News of the incident spreads like wildfire, with clips going viral on platforms like TikTok and Twitter, amassing millions of views within hours. Commentators debate whether Sara was rude or refreshingly real, and if Lorraine overreacted or rightfully defended her show's vibe. Some media outlets speculate that the booking was intentional to boost ratings, given the trend of controversial guests on talk shows. In interviews following the event, Sara reflects, "I went there to share my truth, not to entertain. If that makes people uncomfortable, that's on them." Lorraine, in a statement, says, "We aim for positive conversations, but sometimes guests have their own agenda." This clash not only exposes the fragility of live TV but also sparks wider discussions on authenticity in media, the limits of politeness, and how differing perspectives can lead to explosive moments. As we examine the fallout, it's evident that this wasn't just a personal spat but a reflection of cultural shifts toward more unfiltered dialogues in an era of social media scrutiny. Now, let's reconstruct the pivotal moments of the interview step by step, drawing from eyewitness accounts, leaked audio, and social media reactions to paint a vivid picture of how a routine chat devolved into chaos. The segment opens with standard pleasantries. Lorraine introduces Sara with clips of her speaking engagements and business highlights, setting a tone of admiration. Sara smiles politely, but her body language is straight posture, direct eye contact hints at her no-compromise style. Early questions focus on Sara's career, with Lorraine asking, "How do you balance being a successful entrepreneur and a mother?" Sara replies, "Balance comes from priorities and hard choices, not magic." Society tells women they can have it all without sacrifice, which is a lie. Lorraine chuckles nervously, trying to lighten it with, "Well, we all need a bit of magic sometimes." But Sara doesn't laugh along, instead elaborating on how such myths harm women. The audience senses the shift, with some shifting in their seats, moving to Sara's views on success. Lorraine references a quote, "You say failure is often self-inflicted. That's quite harsh, isn't it?" Sara responds firmly, "Harsh? Reality is harsh. Blaming external factors keeps people stuck. Accountability sets them free." Lorraine pushes back, advocating for understanding systemic issues, leading Sara to concede privilege's role but stress individual agency. The turning point arrives when empathy enters the fray. Lorraine says, "But surely empathy is key. We can't just tell people to toughen up." Sara agrees partially but adds, "Empathy without accountability is manipulation. It keeps people dependent." Lorraine's face hardens, "You're making it sound like compassion is a weakness." Sara's retort, "No, I think fake compassion hangs in the air," met with gasps. The next 47 seconds are a whirlwind. Lorraine accuses Sara of disrespect. Sara defends her stance as truth-telling, and the two talk over each other. Lorraine tries to interject with humor, but Sara's intensity doesn't waver. Producers, panicking, feed lines into Lorraine's earpiece to wrap up. On air, Lorraine declares, "This is a morning show, not a debate club." "Thank you, Sara, but I think we'll end it there." The camera cuts away as Sara begins to respond. Backstage, the drama continues. Lorraine vents to her team about feeling attacked, saying, "That was completely out of line. I invite guests to chat, not lecture." A producer approaches Sara, "We need you to leave now." Sara, calm but resolute, gathers her things and exits, later sharing on Instagram, "Stood for truth, even when it cost me airtime." The immediate aftermath sees the show's ratings spike, but Lorraine faces backlash for handling it poorly. Social media erupts with memes, polls, and think pieces. Was Sara too blunt? Or did Lorraine censor honest talk? Supporters of Sara argue she brought much-needed depth to shallow TV, while Lorraine's defenders say guests should adapt to the format. Broader implications emerge, questioning if morning shows are equipped for substantive guests or if they're purely escapist. In a follow-up episode, Lorraine addresses it vaguely. "Sometimes interviews don't go as planned, but we move on with positivity." Sara, in a podcast, elaborates, "I regret nothing. Conversations like that are what change minds." This incident joins a list of infamous TV clashes, from Oprah's Tom Cruise jump to various heated political debates, but stands out for its focus on personal philosophy over scandal. As analysts dissect it, patterns emerge. Clashes often occur when guests challenge hosts' authority or the show's narrative. For Sara, it boosts her brand as an unapologetic truth-teller, leading to more speaking gigs. For Lorraine, it's a rare dent in her wholesome image, prompting her to be more selective with guests. Ultimately, this exchange underscores the tension between entertainment and enlightenment in media, reminding us that live TV can be unpredictable and revealing. Exploring the public reaction and media coverage following Dr. Sara Al Madani's abrupt exit from Lorraine Kelly's show reveals a polarized landscape that mirrors broader societal divides on communication styles and truth-telling. Immediately after the broadcast, Twitter, now X, lights up with thousands of posts, many using clips shared by audience members who recorded on their phones. Hashtags like #StandWithSara and #LorraineWasRight trend simultaneously, with influencers weighing in. One viral tweet reads, "Sara Al Madani just served truth tea on Lorraine. Finally someone calls out fake positivity," garnering over 50,000 likes. Conversely, Another states, disrespectful. Lorraine's show is for fun, not lectures. Sara should have read the room. Celebrities chime in too. A fellow housewife from Dubai tweets support for Sara, while a British comedian defends Lorraine's light-hearted approach. News outlets pick up the story quickly. At tabloids like The Sun run headlines such as "Sara's savage takedown leaves Lorraine speechless," complete with frame-by-frame analysis of facial expressions. More serious publications like The Guardian explore the cultural clash, noting Sara's Middle Eastern background versus Lorraine's Western chat show norms, questioning if there's an element of misunderstanding. TV critics debate on panels. One argues, Sara exposed the shallowness of morning TV, while another counters, guests must respect the platform they're given. Lorraine's team issues a statement, "We value diverse views, but our show prioritizes positive, engaging content for our audience." Sara posts a lengthy Instagram story, "I went on to discuss real issues, not play pretend." If truth offends, that's the problem. The video of the exchange racks up millions of views on YouTube channels specializing in TV drama, with narrations adding dramatic music and slow-motion replays. TikTok creators recreate the scene, some parodying Lorraine's accent or Sara's poise, turning it into meme fodder. Public polls show a split, 55% side with Sara for authenticity, 45% with Lorraine for maintaining decorum. This division reflects generational gaps. Younger viewers applaud Sara's boldness, older ones prefer Lorraine's comfort. In the days following, Sara's follower count surges by hundreds of thousands, and she announces a new webinar on speaking truth in a filtered world. Lorraine, meanwhile, dedicates a segment to spirited discussions, inviting milder guests to avoid repeats. Experts in media psychology analyze why such clashes captivate. They tap into viewers' desires for raw emotion in an otherwise polished world. Comparisons are drawn to past incidents, like Sharon Osbourne's exit from the talk or various Oprah confrontations, but this one stands out for its intellectual bent over personal drama. Broader conversations emerge about women's roles in media. Sara as the assertive challenger, Lorraine as the nurturing hosta. And if such stereotypes fueled the tension, feminist commentators praise Sara for not dimming her light, while others worry it reinforces strong women as abrasive. The incident also prompts ITV, the network, to review guest vetting processes, ensuring alignments in tone. In a rare joint interview request that both decline, speculation swirls about potential reconciliation. Sara hints in the podcast, "I'd go back if we could have a real talk, not scripted fluff." Lorraine, on her show, laughs it off. Water under the bridge. Live TV is full of surprises. As the dust settles, the event's legacy is cemented in TV lore, inspiring scripts for dramas and even a skit on Saturday Night Live. It serves as a cautionary tale for hosts and guests alike. Authenticity can electrify, but mismatched expectations can explode. Ultimately, this fiery exchange not only entertained but provoked thought on how we handle discomfort and dialogue, pushing society toward more honest interactions or deeper entrenchment in echo chambers. To fully appreciate the layers of this incident, it's worth examining the potential motivations and behind-the-scenes dynamics that led to Dr. Sara Al Madani being kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show. Pre-interview, producers likely briefed Sara on the show's casual vibe, but given her reputation, they might have anticipated some edge to draw viewers. Lorraine, experienced in handling varied guests, starts with flattery, a tactic to build rapport, but Sara's deflection to honesty signals her intent to steer the narrative. As the talk turns philosophical, Lorraine's questions probe Sara's controversial views, perhaps to elicit sound bites, but Sara's responses challenge the premise, on empathy and accountability. Sara's line, "Empathy without accountability is manipulation," strikes at the heart of morning TV's ethos, which often prioritizes feel-good over factual. Lorraine's defense, "You're sounding like you think compassion is a weakness," reveals her feeling personally implicated, as her brand is built on empathetic interviewing. The rapid-fire retorts is Sara's "No, I think fake compassion is," and subsequent barbs create a feedback loop of escalation, with neither yielding. Audience reactions amplify this, gasps fuel Sara's confidence, while murmurs unsettle Lorraine. Producers, monitoring from the control room, decide to intervene when it risks derailing the schedule.